Okay, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. All right, guys, it's Sunday, March 29th, and it is 10:43 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're going to get into the news. I hope everyone is doing fine tonight. Well, it's as good a night as any, I guess. So let's get into the news. All right. Now, I don't know what I was doing when I was doing this up, but I've got news on two different pages. So we'll go through one and then we'll go through the other if we have time. All right. So I do want to thank the following people. Coffee donors. Dana Sizemore. Thank you. Kathy M. Space Chick 7. I like that name. Space Chick. Space Chick 7. Don't forget it. And Catherine Toon, thank you so very, very much. I appreciate it. And also Patreon, picked up a new Patreon subscriber, Sharon Ricard. Actually, I think that is spelled, I spelled it wrong. It's Ricard, but not a capital there. I don't know. I'm having one of those days. All right, and Greg Sanchez, he increased his pledge, and so did Nancy Evans. She increased her pledge. And also Rudy Duty. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I like that name, Rudy Duty. I wish my name, rhymed. It would just be so much fun. But anyway, she did a one-time increase for Xander. So thank you so much. You guys have been very, very, very kind, and I appreciate it. All right. Well, let's look at the news because we can. All right. Now, this is the one, if you watched my previous video on the Q post, I pulled this over because it didn't belong over there. But once I looked at it, I remembered what it was. And we got to view this because it's good. All right. All right. Okay. This is interesting, and it goes by pretty quick, but look at all these headlines with 17. It says this is the news for 3/28, Patriots in control. Look at all the 17s. I might have to stop some of these to get through them. Update, 739 cases of CV in Virginia and 17 deaths. 17-year-old dies of CV, was turned away for lacking insurance. One new death, 17 new COVID-19 cases. VDH, 17 CV-related deaths in Virginia. Poor maintenance could have led to fatal B-17 crash. The 17 best romantic movies and where to stream them. Stream them. Don't scream them. People don't like that. Your neighbors especially. They don't like it when you scream movies. Don't scream them. You can stream them, but don't scream them. Anyway, do you know what I was thinking today? That I don't trust atoms. You know why? You know why I don't trust atoms? Because they make up everything. So just be on the lookout for that. All right. Now, anyway, Nike, LeBron, 17, low Easter coming soon. And let me see what else we have here. All of these 17s in the news. Do you think that's coincidence? Because I don't. Something about second virus death occurs in New Mexico. Cases rise to 17. Bon Jovi believes 17-year-old son contracted CV. 17 food safety facts to know during the CV pandemic. And why 17? Why not 20? Why not 15? Why 17? ICF down 17.1% since last earning report. Yeah, do you think this is all coincidence? Because I don't. Death toll rises to 17. Bob Dylan, 17-minute new song about Kennedy assassination. Train operator killed. 17 others hurt in Harlem. 17 Lux things from Urban Outfitters that are perfect. Why 17? Why not 20? 15? Why not 10? Just saying. Weird. Okay, so yeah, some of these are repeating. Legendary folk singer, songwriter releases first song in 8 years, and it's 17 minutes long. Swans back on breadline, this time with 17 others. Crystal Palace tracking, promising 17-year-old Hearts left back Aaron Hickey, whatever. And Cristiano Ronaldo splashes out 17 million on limited edition, whatever that is. Whatever it is, it's a limited edition. And it's made of atoms because atoms make up everything. All right, that's why you can't trust them. One New Yorker dies of coronavirus every 17 minutes. Boy, there's an awful lot of 17s in the news that day, isn't there? I'm 17 and having sex with my mom's cleaner, but she wants to keep our love secret. All right, let's just go by that like we didn't read it. Yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to show you that because, seems like they were trying to get something across here. That was the news for yesterday. That's right, yesterday. So I think it's pretty interesting, and I think this is going to be a very interesting week. Not sure why I think that. Maybe it's just wishful thinking. I don't know, but not that I want anything bad to happen. I don't want anything bad to happen, but I would like some more verification that these arrests are ongoing, even though I've had quite a bit. There's been quite a bit that substantiates it. All right. Anyway, let's go back, or I'm never going to get through like even this much. I've got to turn off my little chat box. Okay, and this good news. We just alluded to this. Well, not alluded. We actually went into this a little bit in the last video about the Q-Post. Good news. President Trump may finally have control over the Fed and Jerome Powell's insane economic policies. Now, this is from today, so it's hot and fresh like the Krispy Kreme donuts. Well, they're not always hot and fresh, but you got to go in just when you see that hot and fresh sign. That's when they're the best. I miss my Krispy Kreme donuts. But it's my waistline doesn't, but I do. Okay. It's reported over the weekend that the U.S. Treasury and the Fed have joined forces in an effort to save the economy. This action may provide President Trump the ability to manage the economy as he would have liked these past few years, while Jerome Powell from the Fed did all he could to hurt the U.S. economy. We reported on March 16th that just when President Trump saved the U.S. economy, crooked Jerome Powell and the Fed shocked the markets by lowering rates to zero on a Sunday. President Trump gave an impressive presentation from the White House about the economy, and the markets rose 2,000 points. After the president's calming press conference on that Friday, the markets ended the day with the largest one-day increase in history. The Dow was up almost 2,000 points. But over the weekend, on a Sunday, Powell lowered the rates as much as he could to nearly zero. This was unprecedented, lowering rates on a Sunday to rock bottom. The markets responded by crashing on the following Monday. Had the Fed held off and lowered rates in small amounts during normal business hours, the impact and response would have been positive. It was as if, again, Powell was trying to damage the U.S. economy. The Fed and its head look at that. The Fed and its head, Jerome Powell, have mandates to promote stable prices and maximum employment and to ensure a healthy economy. However, the Fed's action over and over these past 3 years of Trump's presidency have been the opposite. The Federal Reserve states on their website that two of its functions are to conduct monetary policy and promote financial system stability, something that they haven't been doing. So, and this is the purposes and function. Now, I'm really wanting to get into this because, like I explained in the last video, not my forte. I really don't understand what the Fed does and all. I mean, I do, but not enough to talk intelligently about it. So I'm really wanting to read up on this and understand, because I do, but it's just a very cursory understanding, and I really do want to be able to discuss it like an intelligent human being. And I want to know. I'm a very curious person, and for some reason, all of a sudden, I've just dying to know. But the Fed under Powell is doing the opposite. Just look at the Fed's rate increase since President Trump won the 2016 election. The Fed lowered interest rates to 0% for the Obama administration and kept these rates at 0 for the first 7 years of Obama's time in office. Finally, the Fed increased the rates 0.25% in late 2015 for the only increase during Obama's presidency up to the 2016 election. After President Trump won the November 2016 election, the Fed began a steady program of increasing interest rates. The program continued through April 2019. In total, the Fed increased rates 8 times after Trump won the presidency. The Fed finally began lowering rates in 2019. And unfortunately, if you cut engine power too far on the jetliner, it will stall and drop out of the sky. On Wednesday, December 19th, 2018, despite the numerous market-based alarms that were sounding in the cockpit, Chairman Powell and his co-pilots on the FOMC voted to raise the Fed funds rate to 2.50. This sucks more dollars out of the economy at a time when the world is demanding more dollars, thanks to Trump's tax cutting and deregulation policies. Chairman Powell had been entirely tone deaf to the financial markets he seeks to protect. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, which had risen by 382 points on hopes that the Fed would listen to President Trump and stop cutting power, plunged by 895 points after the 2 p.m. announcement and closed the day down 352 points, 1.49%. Poof, trillions of dollars of wealth vanished. Since its peak on October 3rd, which not coincidentally was right after Chairman Powell gave a speech suggesting that the Fed might be through tightening money, the Dow has fallen by more than 3,500 points, now 4,500. Market fears about this bad judgment have cut the value of all U.S. stocks by about $4.5 trillion, which is enough to buy 16,000 Boeing 787 Dreamliners. The Fed economists use twisted logic that the economy is strong enough to absorb the rate hikes, which is simply an admission that their policy will slow growth. The markets were up nearly 50% after a year and a half into President Trump's presidency. Then in October 2018, the Fed chief announced more interest rate hikes. After that, the markets collapsed. The markets were down about 20% by the end of 2018, and the Fed nearly put the U.S. into a recession. President Trump challenged the Fed in May 2019. While China is doing all it can to protect its economy, the Fed is doing the opposite in the U.S. And Trump said China is adding great stimulus to its economy while at the same time keeping interest rates low. Our Federal Reserve has incessantly lifted interest rates even though inflation is very low and instituted a very big dose of quantitative tightening. We have the potential to go and it says, up like a rocket, if we did some lowering of rates, like 1 point, and some quantitative easing, yes, we are doing very well at 3.2% GDP, but with our wonderfully low inflation, we could be setting major records and at the same time make our national debt start to look small. And it says the Fed's raising of interest rates are hurting average Americans' 401ks while increasing the U.S. debt. We noted this too. The Fed is adding billions to the annual U.S. debt with their corrupt and crooked policy of raising rates on the Trump administration. Sorry, cats. The Fed finally lowered rates in 2019. The Fed's 2.25% interest rates on the federal debt increased the annual debt by $500 billion annually, or more than $1 trillion in U.S. debt. The Fed finally lowered rates in 2019, which led to more stock market all-time highs before the CV panic. Now, over the weekend, it is reported that the Fed and the Treasury Department are joining forces to save the economy. Okay, I'm not going to read all this from Bloomberg because I don't want to. Is that a good enough reason? It's good enough reason to me. Anyway, we'll come down here where it's summarizing. I want to be able to get through a lot of stuff, and I'm not at this rate because I'm slow as molasses tonight. To put it bluntly, the Fed isn't allowed to do any of this. The central bank is only allowed to purchase or lend against securities that have government guarantee. This includes Treasury security, agency mortgage-backed securities, and the debt issued by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. An argument can be made that can also include municipal securities, but nothing in the laundry list above. So I'm not going to read any more of that because, as I said, I'm not able to discuss it intelligently until I get studying on this, because I just don't understand how all this connects to other stuff. I really don't. So, and maybe you don't either. So maybe when I find out, I can do a short video on it and kind of take it down to our level. I shouldn't say our level because some of you may be very well versed in it and maybe financial wizards. I don't know. You never know who's listening. But I need to dumb it down to my level because I don't understand all the financial stuff. Not as much as I'd like to anyway. Well, there's Sammy. Too bad you couldn't see him. And there's his bum. Not sure why he wants to show me his bum, but he does. Hello. Are you on camera? Let me go over here and see if he is. Come here. Sammy. Hey, come here. Come here. I'm trying to get, no, he walked behind it. Sorry, tried, but he did. There. Hi. Now he's looking up over the computer at me. And I know what he's thinking. He's thinking, what can I chew? He's already chewed the charger to my phone today, among other things. All right, let's go back now. I'm telling you, I'm slow tonight. And Rhode Island police to hunt down New Yorkers seeking refuge. Can you imagine? Yeah, they're going to go door to door in Rhode Island. Like, knock, knock, knock. Do you have any New Yorkers here? Crazy stuff. So I'm not going to get into that, but because let me tell you, I've got a ton of stuff. Just in, President Trump said some people would like to see New York quarantined, adding, there's a possibility that sometime today we'll do a quarantine, short term, 2 weeks on New York, probably New Jersey, certain parts of Connecticut. So that was today. No, that was yesterday, and I haven't heard of them doing it yet. So I guess they have not, which I don't know. Seems like the cure is worse than the problem at this point, but I guess that's hard to say. Alrighty, now let's go back. Oh, Sammy, why won't you show them? Why won't you show them your little face with your little black lips? And he's got the cutest little black lips on. I don't know why he does, but anyway. Okay, well, he does. And Xander, poor Xander, is still kind of bleary-eyed and everything because he's on all this medication for the pain. Oh, please pray that the vet is able to do this surgery very, very soon. They are making it very, very difficult for vets or anyone to do anything, much of anything. The only way, they've told vets that they can do operations only if the animal is in imminent danger of dying. And so they're going to let poor little Xander be in pain because the top part of his joint is gone. Poor little thing. Anyway, please pray that they're able to do it. Okay, I'm digressing. I don't know what's with me tonight. I just want to sit and chat and chat and chat and chat about everything, except the stuff I'm supposed to be here chatting about. So anyway, all right, now I pulled this in, and it's a 1-year delta. Here's the 28th of March, 2020, and Donald Trump says, so much of the lamestream media is writing and broadcasting stories with facts that are made up and knowingly wrong. They are doing it by quoting unnamed sources that simply do not exist. These are very dangerous and corrupt people who will do anything to win. name your sources, because we know what they do. They'll say, well, a source told us, but when really there is no source, they're just making it up. So this is March 28th, 2019. So 1 year Delta. This was what Q said. Congressman Adam Schiff, who spent 2 years knowingly and unlawfully lying and leaking, he's a lying leaker, he's a leaky liar, should be forced to resign from Congress knowingly. Leaking investigations can lead to forced resignations. Knowingly disseminating false information is illegal. Gang of 8, Intel, Q. Well, isn't that interesting that 1 year to the date, Trump tweets this and puts knowingly. Could be a coincidence, might not be. Then we have this. And this was March 28th, 2019, the same day that that Q wrote this. Donald Trump said Congressman Adam Schiff, who spent 2 years knowingly and unlawfully lying and leaking, should be forced to resign from Congress. So both Q and Trump were saying the same thing, and this was, that was March 28th, 2019, and so was this. So, I don't know, could be a coincidence, might not be. You know what Q says, there's no coincidences. All right, let's look at this now. Kathy Griffin, who said she had coronavirus, that one, the one that held up the head of Trump. Yeah, that one. The one that doesn't have any talent, her. Yeah, well, she took a picture of herself lying in a hospital bed. Apparently, she had a mask on, and she said that it's Trump's fault that she has coronavirus. Well, she didn't have coronavirus. Report, Kathy Griffin caught red-handed trying to pretend she had CV. This is why we should never take Hollywood seriously, folks. And just like Adams, you can't take them seriously. They make up everything. All right. This is some hilarious irony, folks. The extremely anti-Trump actress, Kathy Griffin, wasted zero time in blaming Trump for her supposedly contracting COVID-19, using it as another opportunity to attack the president for his bad handling of the virus. But the really ironic part is that Griffin never had coronavirus. She had an abdominal infection. What a doofus. Yeah, that's as good a name as any, doofus. And it says Kathy Griffin told the Los Angeles Times on Thursday afternoon that she was now home with a stomach infection after being hospitalized over concern she had COVID-19 symptoms. Griffin said she recently returned from a Mexican vacation and experienced intense abdominal pain, Montezuma's revenge, vomiting, diarrhea, and a cough. I think we've all had Montezuma's revenge. She said she was eventually directed to the emergency room at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles and placed in CV isolation ward. An x-ray revealed her lungs were clear and a scan revealed she had an abdominal infection. Griffin said a doctor still wanted to administer a test for COVID-19, the disease caused by the novel CV, because some of her symptoms fit the illness, according to the comedian, but she said the doctor said she couldn't because of guidelines issued by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. What a loon! How can you claim that you have a highly publicized virus without being properly tested? Well, I guess you can do it if you're Kathy Griffin. Make it up. Make everything up, just like Adams. Make everything up. Okay. Now, let's go back, because we can. Now, all right. Yeah, this opinion, this is the Detroit News. Michigan's doctors fight CV and the governor's office because, of course, we know that she doesn't want to let the doctors do their job and prescribe medicine like, that could actually make people, I don't know, better. No, she's saying that they're not allowed to use the hydrochloroquine. And it's helping people. It's helping people. How, Where did she get her medical degree? I'd like to see it. Seriously. I want to know. She's practicing medicine without a license. Isn't that what you'd call it? She's denying the hospitals, the doctors, the people that need this medicine to be able to cure people or at least make them better. But she's saying, no, you can't use that medicine. Mm-mm. Well, where'd she get her medical degree? Seriously. I think she's trying to practice medicine without a law license. I mean, a law license. Yes, all the doctors practice medicine without a law license. Imagine. No, without a medical degree. Really, she. It really makes me angry. Like, people like this make me very angry. Because you know what? If that was your loved one, if that was my loved one, I'd want everything. Like, if they said, well, there's a chance this could work. Yes, use it. Better than them dying, which, you know, both my parents are elderly. So chances are very good that if they got that, and especially my dad, because he's got really limited lung function as it is. So I'd be like, yeah, use it, whatever. But she's not giving doctors that choice. She's not giving people that choice. She's a piece of work. I just would like it, you know, if she can show a medical license, I'll give her some slack. Maybe. No, I won't, but still. All right. Let's go back now. Okay. I'm going to skip this because it says it's long. And yeah, that's why. I've got a lot to get through tonight, so I'll never get through it if I... Okay. Now, I'm sure you've, you know, heard about this, but holy mackerel, that's huge. Okay, well, I guess it really is that big. I guess they like their stories big. Even blind people can read this. German state finance minister Thomas Schaefer found dead, 15 hours ago. And that's him. Well, it was him. I don't believe. Police suspect Thomas Schaefer died by suicide after his body was found on train tracks near Wiesbaden. He was the finance minister for the state of Hesse, where Germany's financial center Frankfurt lies. The body of a man identified as Thomas Schaefer, the finance minister of the German state of Hesse, was found on a high-speed train line in the town of Hokum. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Between Frankfurt and Mainz, police confirmed Saturday. The presence of a body on the tracks was first reported by witnesses to paramedics who were unable to initially identify the remains due to the extent of the injuries. Yeah, getting hit by a train, not pleasant. Investigators said an investigation on the scene confirmed the identity of the man as Schaefer and that the death was likely a suicide. Police did not immediately release further details of the case. The politician apparently left a note before taking his own life. German Daily Frankfurter, not a chance I can pronounce that, reported, citing sources close to the investigation. The note, according to the report, referenced Schaefer's reasons for taking the step. According to media in the state of Hesse, the 54-year-old regularly appeared in public in recent days, for example, to inform the public about financial assistance during the CV crisis. Schaefer had considerable worries over COVID-19. Schaefer was a member of the Chancellor Angela Merkel's center-right Christian Democrats. He had been active in Hessian state politics for more than 2 decades and was finance minister for almost 10 years. Look at how big this writing is. Have you ever seen anything like this? It's like, seriously, even you tiny phone people can read this. You could probably stand across the room and read it. All right, anyway, I digress. Germany's financial capital, Frankfurt, lies in Hesse and is the state's biggest city. Schaefer had been widely expected to succeed State Premier Volker Bouffier if he decided not to stand for re-election in 2023. In a statement, Bouffier said that the state's leadership has received the news with sadness and disbelief. Bouffier also said that Schaefer had been living under considerable worry and stress because of the current COVID-19 pandemic. Well, who isn't? Really? His main concern was whether he could manage to fulfill the huge expectations of the population, especially in terms of financial aid. Bouffier said on Sunday, for him, there was clearly no way out. He was disappointed, and so he had to leave us. That has shocked us, has shocked me. I don't believe he commits suicide. I really don't. And because that's just a stupid reason. And really, how many people suicide themselves by laying on the railroad track? Seriously, really. Not a good way to go. I'm just saying. Outgoing CDU chief Annegret Kramp, Karen Bauer, said Schaefer's sudden death shocked me, shocked all of us in the party. It has hit us and left us sad and stunned, she wrote on Twitter. Yeah, one of the candidates to succeed Karen Bauer as leader of the party, Friedrich Merz, and possible successor to Merkel as chancellor, wrote on Twitter about the shock and the death. Well, I think that's enough now, because this huge writing, I mean, colossal, mammoth writing, is irritating. Who writes that big? Really? I mean, people in another country could read this. Anyway, okay, I digress. Let's go back. And let's go on. Yeah, this is a little bit disconcerting. I'm just saying, disconcerting. Silicon Valley's final frontier for payments, the neoliberal takeover of the human body. It's closer than you think. Ditching credit cards for facial recognition removes the last physical barrier for between our bodies and corporate America. Now, this was written October 23rd, but it's very pertinent for right now, because along with this V that they're developing, we'll have a chip. Yeah. So a little disconcerting, a lot disconcerting. Aram Seinrich recently went grocery shopping at a Whole Foods market in his hometown of Washington, D.C., and realized he had left his wallet at home. He had no cards and no cash, but he had no reason to worry, at least not paying for his food. I used my iPhone to pay, and I unlocked it with my face, he said. That's when it struck him. We are just one small step away from paying with our bodily features alone. With in-store facial recognition machines, he wouldn't even need his smartphone. Seinrich, associate professor of communication study at American University, said he got a glimpse of the future that day. And we're all that much closer now. Biometric mobile wallets, payment technologies using our faces, fingerprints, or retinas already exist. Notable technology companies using Apple and Amazon await a day when a critical mass of consumers is sufficiently comfortable walking into a store and paying for goods without a card or device, according to Seinrich, author of The Essential Guide to Intellectual Property. Removing the last physical barrier, smartphone, watches, smart glasses, and credit cards between our bodies and corporate America is the final frontier in mobile payments. The deeper the tie between the human body and the financial networks, the fewer intimate spaces will be left unconnected to those networks, Seinrich said. After a slow start, the global mobile payment market is expected to record a compound annual growth rate of 33%, reaching $457 billion in 2026, according to the market research firm IT Intelligence Markets. As payments move from cash to credit cards to smartphones, financial technology companies known as fintechs have been honing their biometric services. Honing their biometric services. Biometric technology, meanwhile, is infiltrating every other aspect of our digital lives. Juniper Research forecasts that mobile biometrics will authenticate 2 million in-store and remote mobile payment transactions in 2023, 17 times more than the estimated, there's that 17 again, 124 billion in such transactions last year. Juniper, a UK-based firm that provides research on the global high-tech communications sector, said it expects growth to be driven by both industry standardization initiatives like Visa's secure remote commerce and by the introduction by smartphone vendors of different forms of biometric authentication. Using biometrics as a method of payment is going to be pretty popular in the future, said Hannah Zimmerman, associate attorney with Fay LLC in Leawood, Kansas. She said this will be propelled by the globalization of commerce and the fact that companies in the U.S. will want to find new ways to facilitate cross-border transaction. It will make shopping easier for consumers, and if studies on mobile payments provide a barometer, more lucrative for companies. A study carried out by research at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign found that the number of actual purchases increased by almost 1/4 when people used Alipay mobile payments. Yeah, you know what? You want to cut down on how much you buy and pay, use cash. Because when you actually see it leaving your hand, it's a lot different than just tap, tap. Now, you can't use cash anywhere around here now. I mean, I've had the same 20 bucks in my wallet for, well, ever since this began, because nobody will take it. I mean, I could just deposit it in my bank, but yeah, I mean, I always like to have a little bit of cash in my wallet just in case I want a coffee or something. I don't want to have to always tap, but yeah, they won't accept it here because of the virus. You have to use either credit or tap. Anyway, okay, well, that's enough about that. I just wanted to let you know that this is all working together. It'll be, finally, I think it'll be where they've got that little chip and you can pay with it. You can, it'll have whether you're vaccinated or not, everything. It'll have everything on it eventually, and not that far into the future either. So, and of course, if you're familiar with scripture, then you know that's coming at some point. Okay, now this, I saw this somewhere and I copied it because I just could not believe this. This is HSBC. The future is full of opportunity. And look at this. It's a fingerprint with ink on it with a little computer scan code. Your DNA will be your data. Well, isn't that what we've been talking about the last little bit anyway, with this new virus and the possible V for it that is being developed by Bill Gates, and he is putting a what's that called, biomarker or something in there that it'll say, like, they'll scan that and they'll know what you're lacking in V's, and they will know whether you've been vaccinated against this virus or not. And chances are, if you haven't been, probably you won't be able to work for some companies. Don't know. Probably your kids won't be able to get into school because right now, they have to have those V's. Always pushing the V's. Okay, so let's look down here. This by Matt Whitlock. Worth noting that Congress passed legislation to make CV testing free for everyone 10 days ago. And that was in response to Sleepy Joe Biden, who said, "Let me be clear, no one should have to pay for CV testing or treatment." And Matt Whitlock responded, "Yeah, it's worth noting that Congress passed legislation to make that testing free for everyone like 10 days ago. And Warrior for Life, responding to sweet little Sheila, Canada, some Toronto area mosques remain open despite restrictions and warnings about CV. Yes, that's true. The churches are all shut down. They've made sure they're shut down, but not the mosques. Nope. Anyway, this response from Warrior for Life, as I tweeted earlier this week, mosques in Toronto remaining open. How is this even allowed? We have one law in Canada for everyone. Abide by it. Okay, well, she didn't get the memo. It's not one law for all in Canada anymore. Somebody needs to send her the memo. Yeah, that's gone. One law in Canada for everyone. Oh my, that's funny. Yeah. One law in Canada if you're Canadian. If you were born and bred here, yeah, then it's one law for all of you. And then there's another law for everybody else. All right. So, and here, Tom Hanks, Rita Wilson, all smiles in LA after bout with CV. Yeah, well, right. And Leanna Simmons says, nice try, lying sack of shite. This picture was taken in Australia. It's been on the internet several times already. Notice Hanks is wearing the same clothes as the picture with the barcode door TMZ lying for elite pedophiles. Yeah, when he landed in LA, there was a picture of him with his hands up and two very official looking, agent-like types with him. So don't think that he's all, back and everything's fine. Yep. All right. And there's that again that I already had in there once. We don't need to look at it again about the feds going door to door in Rhode Island looking for New Yorkers. It's almost like that movie, what was it? Escape from New York? Oh, and I Am Legend. That was another one that was set in New York. There's been a lot of them set in New York. Now, and this, which we've already looked at, it's official, the Federal Reserve is insolvent. Now, this is interesting, and I happen to believe this. I happen to believe it very, very much. This is from an Anon. It was 327, and look at this. No, really, look. It says self-quarantined. If you hear that so-and-so, like a lot of, famous people are, I don't know what it is. I think the virus seems to, just like the tornadoes, they'll take a hard right to go and destroy a mobile home park. Well, it's the same thing with this virus. It's heading straight for, the well-known people. It just seems to be. Anyway, if you hear somebody's self-quarantined, it means they're under house arrest. If they are self-quarantined and say they've had CV exposure, means that they've been detained and questioned. If somebody says they tested negative, it means there's been no confession, but they're going to trial. Tested positive means that they've confessed to take a deal, execution out of public eye. See why they were so scared about Tom Hanks? Absolutely. Remember David Spade saying, well, it's all up to him. We're watching him to see what happens. Why would he say that? I mean, we know. All right. Well, let's go on. You know why? Because we can. Yeah, this is Canada. Although I'm pretty sure you probably could have figured that out yourself once you find out that people are reporting on their neighbors over COVID-19 concerns, like the good little Nazis we are. I'm sorry, but this stuff makes me so angry. Toronto, the CV pandemic has revealed how Canadians are reporting on neighbors flouting the federal government's order to self-isolate and practice physical distancing. Police in Montreal have confirmed reports are coming in from concerned citizens, though no fines have been issued or arrests made for those who don't comply with distancing rules. Psychologist Genevieve Bolio Pelche said there's a reason people are calling police. In a threatening situation, we tend to control what we can, she said to CTV News in Montreal. We're in a state of powerlessness. By calling the police, I'm trying to control what I can. It's a way to reassure myself. The act of reporting is also being spurred by some government officials across the country. Oh, it sure is. Alex Batassi, mayor of the Montreal suburb, Dollard de I can't pronounce that, has encouraged people to call the police if they see people not practicing safe distancing. If it's just some people walking through the park, that's perfectly fine with us. But if people are congregating and they're having fun and they're having a party, well, that's a little bit of a different story. We're asking people to please move along and obey the laws. It's the few that decide they're above the law and don't realize they're actually risking and putting at risk the rest of the community. Meanwhile, in London, Ontario, city officials have set up a new snitch line. to report people not complying with federal guidance around COVID-19. The goal, according to the city, is to provide a single point of contact to help ease the demands on other community phone lines, including the Middlesex London Health Unit and 911. While reporting might be done with good intentions, it can still cause problems. In BC, Metro Vancouver's Emergency Dispatch Center has seen a surge of calls related to COVID-19, including quite a few involving reporting on neighbors who are not self-isolating or abiding by the physical distancing rules, which is taking operators away from dealing with real emergencies. We have received some calls from people complaining that the grocery store lineups are too long. Jasmine Brady, communications manager for Ecom, told CTV Vancouver, "Not only is that frustrating, it's scary. We're going to be relying on the public help to make sure 911 lifelines are kept free for reporting emergencies where police, fire, and ambulance are required to attend right away." The Quarantine Act, which came into effect early Wednesday, means all travelers returning to Canada are now legally required to go into self-isolation for 14 days. The legislation gives the federal health minister sweeping powers to stop the spread of communicable diseases, including routine screenings by quarantine officers at airports. Carrie Bowman, a bioethicist and professor at the University of Toronto, told CTV News Channel the act could set a precedent for more severe restrictions to limit the spread of COVID-19. He warns that government decisions need to be proportionate, transparent, and fair. Yeah, like we're not allowed to go to church, but the Muslims are allowed to go to their mosque. I don't think that's fair. He warned the government decisions need, so far, compared to other countries, we're doing fairly well on that front, but trust is essential. And if they overdid it and you have a backlash, that would be very destructive, Bowman said Saturday. But I think as long as they've got our trust, it's going to work. You don't have my trust. With files from CTV Vancouver, Shannon Patterson, CTV Montreal's Emily Campbell, and Adam Kovac, CTV's London's Amanda Tacone, and the Canadian Press, which is anything but free. Anything but free. Okay. All right. Let's go back, shall we? Of course we shall. Oh, you're not going to believe this. Oh, wait a minute. You are going to believe this. You really are. Yeah, we've got them up here too. They don't work. Chinese company that makes forehead thermometers jokes about making faulty product for sale in U.S. in order to spread disease. And I know you're probably saying, no, they wouldn't do that. Yeah, they're using the same ones up here in Canada, and they've been shown that no matter what it scans, it's always reading a temperature that is acceptable. So you could be burning up. You could be 200 degrees. Of course, that's not possible, but, you know, and it'll still say you're fine. Yeah, China, they really have our best interests in mind, don't they? When are we going to learn not to take stuff from China? Seriously. The owner of a Chinese factory in an online group chat suggested intentionally calibrating forehead thermometers shipped to the United States a few degrees cooler than what the actual temperature is. The way Americans who are sick will not register as having a fever and will then spread the virus. Writes Jennifer Zhang posted this thread on Jennifer Zhang posted this thread on Twitter. Zhang Dong, owner of Haofeng Electronic Technology Company in Dongguan, Guangdong Province in China, says in a chat group of forehead thermometer producers, which has 178 members, produce some fake products and sell them to the U.S. Thermometers should read 36.5 degrees Celsius when the actual temperature is 39 degrees Celsius. In this way, more and more American people will be infected. Let's see if forehead thermometer producers, which has 178 members, produce some fake products and sell them to the U.S. Thermometers should read 36.5 degrees Celsius when the actual temperature is 39 degrees Celsius. In this way, okay, I don't know why they wrote that twice, the exact same sentence, but they did. Yeah, so anyway, they really are because they have found a bunch of those faulty thermometers up here. Yeah. So there you go. And I'm not going to say any more about that because there's too much to get to. And look what time it is. It's already 11:33. I can't remember what this is. It says language alert, but I think it's something good. So I'm just warning you about the language, okay? Oh, yes, this is extremely important, okay? Now, hang on here. This is very, very important. And yes, just there's a language alert there, so I'm just letting you know. But now, it says, this is Follow QAnon, We Stand United. And he says, now, well, it could be a she, I'm not sure. But now either you believe the lame mainstream media crisis actors or you are truly awake. So let's look at this, shall we? And I'm going to make this bigger.
Recently reporting on CNN
had its first
about the coronavirus.
Pass away from the coronavirus. Everything we are doing right now is to help.
Now check this shit out. Now look, this Lawrence Fishburne in the movie Contagion. Listen to what Blood say.
But right now, our best defense has been social distancing. No handshaking, staying home when you're sick, washing your hands frequently.
And look who Blood talking to.
To date.
Ain't that the nigga from CNN? Or am I tripping?
We're still working on confirming that number.
Journalist,
the CDC, this is Blood from CNN. In the movie Contagion. Come on now. I mean, I ain't no conspiracy theory motherfucker, but this is a hell of a coincidence. And he telling us to do what we gotta do right now in real life in the movie.
Is that in order to become sick, you have to first come in contact with a sick person or something that they touched. In order to get scared, all you have to do is come in contact with a rumor or the television.
Now, isn't that interesting?
Consistently reporting on CNN.
So they're reporting this on CNN, but from the movie Contagion, it's like the guy from Contagion, which I don't think I've seen that movie, to tell you the truth. I know I haven't. But they're saying very, very similar things as with this virus. And in the movie, this guy is interviewing the guy from Contagion, which is saying pretty much exactly what this guy's saying. How weird is that? I mean, it's weird, and I apologize for the language, but I can't control that. I thought it was important to see, so. All right, now let's go back. And, well, that's it for this page anyway, but I got a whole other page, and look, my time's up. Okay, let's look at this now. First person to test coronavirus vaccine appears to be a crisis actor. Jennifer Haller, the first human CVV patient, speaks out in an interview on MSNBC. And guess who she is? Yeah, crisis actor. She sure is. Now, I don't know if I can make this big. No, I can't. And I'm sorry. But this is her. This is her profile picture, and this is her on CNN. And let me see. First person to test CV vaccine speaks out. Researchers are in the clinical phase trial for CV vaccine within a record number of days. Jennifer Haller, the first human CV vaccine patient, joins MSNBC's for an exclusive interview detailing her experience as a researcher to researchers race to find a cure for the CV affecting, it's very small here, but and this is where she's from, the Obey Propaganda Company. That's right, established 1989. Yeah, the Obey Propaganda Company. Well, we'll miss this tub of joy. Monica is off to her forever home today, and so excited for her future. She will be a service dog for a gentleman with severe PTSD, but this is her, and this is her hat. So I don't know what else. Where else are they seeing this? Anyway, this is the company that she works for, Obey Propaganda Company. They are crisis actors. That's what she is. And I remember people saying, do not believe if you hear that a V is being developed. Don't believe it. I heard several people say that to me, and now I wish that I'd paid more attention to what they were saying, because indeed, this person, the first person to test the V, is a actress. Unbelievable, isn't it? So there you go. Just like atoms, they make up everything? Well, so does the media. All right, now let's just, I think that's it. And let's just jump over here to the other one to make sure, because there's a lot of stuff over here that I meant to bring you. Look at all this stuff I have. Look, look. Oh my gosh, and a lot of this is important, but I don't have it in me to do a third video tonight. All right. I'm gonna have to wait till tomorrow for some of this stuff. And some of it's probably, yeah, like this from Cat Turd. If you're stressed about paying your bills and putting food on the table, don't worry. Nancy Pelosi and Democrats delayed your money to give themselves a $25 million raise. I wish that wasn't true, but it is. And what's this? Oh yes, look at this. From Pelosi. She deleted it, but yeah, somebody got a screenshot of it. Nancy Pelosi, I am disgusted with President Trump allowing people to keep more of the money they earn. It is this type of widespread theft of public resources that keeps America from being great, Mr. President. Yeah, she deleted that. I can't imagine why. Can't imagine why she would delete something like that. She's a nut. A first-rate nut. Okay, well, I've got so much more to give you, but all right, I'll try to pull together this stuff that isn't old from this and add to it for tomorrow, and I'll be back. I will. No, really. So that is going to be it for tonight. Look, I even look like I've just, been, oh, I don't like that saying. I was going to say rode hard and hung up wet. That applies to horses, not people. So, and when you do apply it to people, it sounds really vulgar. All right. So that's it for tonight. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, stay well, and try to stay sane during all this, because I know it's getting to me, and I'm sure it's getting to you too. Especially when, like, I live alone. Well, I have 2 cats, but they don't talk much. Well, they do, but it's hard to have a really deeply intellectual conversation with a cat. Have you ever tried? Yeah. All they do is, when I bend over to, pet my cat or whatever, if anything's dangling, and I'm, you're trying to talk to them, you're trying to have a serious conversation with them, and all they're doing is like batting at your necklace or your earrings, or yeah, it's hard to have a serious conversation with cats. Anyway, so it does get a little bit boring. Okay, it gets a lot boring. I'm so bored. I mean, I'm not. I have lots to do, but I just, nobody even comes and visits. All right. Okay, I'll stop feeling sorry for myself now, and I'll start feeling sorry for you. There, that was me feeling sorry for you. Did you feel it? Did y'all feel it? Do you feel better? Well, good night, people. That's it. I'm getting weird, and I'm going to bed soon. Yeah. All right. Good night, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Yes, I will.